One. Y'all like that? Please welcome to the stage, what are these names? Director Russ Parr, Mr. Chaz Lamar Shepherd, and Miss Ambre Anderson. Never would have made it, Marvin Sapp story. I think Marvin is supposed to join us, but I guess he's not. We'll start with you guys. I thought we had him on Zoom. Oh, here he is. There he is. Give him a round of applause. Mr. Sapp, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Congratulations, sir. That was epic.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Teamwork makes the dream work. So I'm glad that Amber, Chaz, and Russ, bought into, our vision and bought into our story. They're amazing. That's all I can say.
Give him a round of applause. Could you talk a little bit more about your wife's legacy and how you and your family continue to honor her memory?
Well, Melinda was without question an amazing person. I like to call her the ultimate multitasker, meaning that she possessed the ability to do the things that she was professionally trained at extremely well, being a college professor, the director of psychometry at a mental hospital, on the board of a mental hospital, and being my wife, being a mother, managing my career, administrating, and being the executive pastor of the church, and so much more. And she was a gift. And even though she wasn't here, but for 43 years, she was an absolute blessing to me. I tell people all the time, I was with her for 20 years, married to her for 18, and for 18 years, all I did was get up, pack clothes, travel, preach, sing, come home, and drop off the check, and really didn't have to worry about it. So, when she transitioned from this life to life eternal, it was a major void in my children and I's life. But even though she was no longer with us, she had a slogan that she would get up and say every morning. And that slogan that she would say every morning while getting kids ready for school, along with getting herself ready to go to work, is keep it moving. So all we kept hearing all through the house every day is keep it moving, children, keep it moving, keep it moving. And that's what Marvin and Caleb and Max and I have been doing ever since. And that is we've been keeping it moving and trying to make sure that we, keep her legacy alive, number one. But number two, to make her proud. And I'm proud of my children. My son, he works at Amazon Web Services here with Howard University. My daughters are both at Alabama A&M. One is in a master's program, the other one is finishing her dual bachelor's. So they're overachievers like their mother. And I'm just grateful, man. This is amazing. You don't wake up in the morning saying, you know what, one day you're gonna do a movie on my life. And I'm just honored. Thank you, TV One. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it. I really do.
What was it like seeing yourself? I don't know. Have you seen the movie yet?
Oh man, I played a part in every aspect of it. From being one of the co-writers to it just ain't executive producer name. They made sure that I was a part of the editing process. So it's been work. And it's also been extremely emotional. We living, certain things about your life, and then seeing them on screen, it brings back a flood of emotions. But my hope in this is that people can see that no matter what walk of life you come from, that no matter how challenging your youth may be, no matter how challenging your life may be, no matter what traumas
Hey, I wanted to ask you one more question about your childhood. What was the gateway for you that was leading you? I know you had a friend who I guess was going the wrong way, but what was your gateway in terms of the drugs and the alcohol?
Well, for me, you know, when my mother and father got divorced, and we didn't put it all in there because I had like 5 friends. I was telling Russ and people in Detroit, you know, we had to literally put all 5 of my friends into one. And out of all of the 5 friends that I had, I'm the only one that made it out. You know, one of my friends, his father owned a local liquor store in our city, and he passed away at 49, cirrhosis of the liver. Another one of my best friends that I used to run with did like 29 years in prison for second-degree murder for drugs. I still have a great friend at home that's still strung out on drugs. Another great friend at home that's actually an alcoholic. And out of all of them, you know, and my God, 3 of them were pastors' kids. And out of all of them, I'm the only one that really made it out, I guess. And when my mother and father got divorced, you know, I just kind of just lost it, you know, and we didn't put all this stuff in the movie, but, you know, at the age of 12, I smoked my first joint. At the age of 16, I began to drink and pop pills. At the age of 18, I snorted my first line of cocaine. And I was going to church every Sunday because at the age of 10, my mother made me choose. She said, Marvin, either you're going to sing in the church or you're going to sing in the world, but you can't do both. And at 10 years old, I decided that I wanted to sing gospel music. And I did it. And I can count the number of times that I sang secular music. But, you know, my mother and father's divorce, it hit me, it hurt. And being a little guy, even though it's hard for y'all to believe that now, I was 5'2" from 12 to 20. So being a little guy, having talent, I still wanted to fit in. So when my friends started smoking, I started smoking. When they started drinking, I started drinking. With my boss in the basement of my job, I snorted cocaine. And, you know, turning churches out every Sunday. For the sake of a better word. But, you know, it was a difficult moment in life that I was trying to find outside sources to manage and massage and to take the pain away. And I finally realized after being diagnosed with epilepsy, and I really believe that my diagnosis with epilepsy was directly connected to the drugs that I was dealing with. I really had to cast all my cares upon him, all the anxieties and stuff, and really just give it to God. And once that happened, that's when my life really began to change.
All right, all right. Chaz, I want to ask you, Chaz. I want to ask you, how did you prepare for to be Mr. Marvin Sapp? How did you prepare for that?
I trusted. Can y'all hear me? Okay. I trusted the script. I didn't try to make it any more than what they presented, and wanted to make sure that I presented no less than what they presented. And this was the story that was presented to me to do my part in. And that's what I wanted to authentically do. My word for it was authenticity. So whatever was before me, it was my goal to convey that authentically under the direction of Russ Parr, and hoping and praying that the other leaders, the DP and all those involved, that we would all do our best and be competent enough to do justice to what was on the script. I did not want to imitate him at all. I was more interested in the essence of the story than being a look-alike.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You have a mic? And how did you prepare for to be Melinda?
For Melinda, I talked to Marvin for a good while, and I was so happy that he was so open to talk to me. I didn't want to, open any wounds, but I wanted to give her justice. And there was so much about her. The depth of this woman was unbelievable. So, you know, talking to Marvin, and also, like Chaz said, there's so much in the script. And our leader, Russ Parr, gave us so much direction. It all came together. And I never felt like I was winging it. I had everything I needed with the script, with Marvin, with Russ, with Chaz, you know? So it was definitely one of those projects where preparing for it was, I won't say by any means it was easy, but I'll say there was a lot to go with.
You had a lot of information.
Yeah, I had a lot of information, but she was just such a layered and dynamic woman.
Russ, I know you've done a lot. Could you just briefly tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I just got out of prison 2 years ago. That's where I first met. I met Marvin in prison.
Free Russ Parr.
He took some cornbread off of my plate. I was pissed, and I said, let's go ahead and get into the gospel thing. That's, no, actually, this movie was probably, out of all the movies I've done, maybe 13 features, this was probably one of the most difficult ones. Because the first day I saw all these young people, and I saw a few people I worked with, like Jordan in makeup and so on and so forth, but there were a lot of young people. And I went, uh-oh, I got a really green staff. And just prayed on it. And these kids, and you guys work with them, these kids busted their tail. When I was writing the screenplay, it was so difficult for me personally because, and I told Phil, you know, my guys, Jason, Phil, and Gold, I told them this is a really difficult script to write because Melinda reminded me of my mother who died around the same age. And to write it, you go into a place that you don't want to go, but you know you have to do it. And I thank God for my wife, Darnell, because it's always unspoken. She would know, okay, he went there. And I'm just blessed to have her to comfort me during those times. But not about me, it was about Melinda. And I really felt that to honor her and to show the strength of a woman, a black woman, in the face of adversity, to get up every day and continue to be a mom, to continue to be a mother for the community, to continue to be a wife and a manager to this great man, I thought was phenomenal. It's hard for me to sit, this is the first time when I did my director's cut, I cried the whole time. We had a screening last week. I left when y'all stuff started. I can't do it. And I had to sit there because I'm sitting with my wife in the audience, being a Mr. Tough Guy. But I'm glad I stayed and watched it to hear everybody else's reactions because it gave me comfort. It made me feel like, you know, this isn't a journey that we're all doing by ourselves. And I have to tell you, working with Amber and Chaz knows every day I gave him jokes, every day. And we're going every morning, he'd come in, hey, Bishop. And I'm not a bishop, but you've heard some of the singing there in this movie. That was Chaz doing more. And the parts that Marvin sang, that was me singing for Marvin.
And the parts that I sang got cut out.
But we liked it on the floor. But in all honesty, this is one of these films that everybody can watch with their children. I think I really got to give the big boss, Michelle Rice, a lot of credit for having the vision to say, okay, let's do a movie about Marvin Sapp. And when I came on board the project, I said, I don't want it to be like all the other films. I don't want to get the same faces that we see in every movie. And Donnie and I, with casting, and George Pierre, we found some great actors. And I want to keep over talking, but I'm going to get the little stories out of the way. Kamari, who plays the young Marvin, I worked with him years ago on a series, and he didn't know how good he was. He has no idea how good he is. And to this day, I call him and, was I really good? That kid was incredible. And if we didn't have him, it would have been very expensive because he sang all those parts. There was no lip syncing, that was him singing. Sometimes he learned the words to those songs that day. And he sang it and he acted it. There's so many stories I want to tell you, but I know we need to talk to other people, but I wanted to get that out because I was hesitant at first because I'm a big fan of Marvin's, but his story scared me personally. And emotionally, I didn't know if I could handle it, but we did, we're here, I made it.
Now, where did y'all do that at? What state was that in? Where'd y'all shoot it at?
We shot in Atlanta in 12 and a half days. Yeah, because Michelle and Kenyette were like, are we over budget? And they'd send guys on the set, hey Russ, we're getting ready to go into overtime. No, it's, they gave us a nice budget to be able to do, I think, is a very incredible movie. And I hope it touches everybody the way it's touched me.
Absolutely. I enjoyed the comedy that you injected in the film, especially early on. I thought it brought a certain level of levity to it.
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up because the story, Marvin's story, you know, it pulls at your heartstrings, and I really felt that if we can inject a little bit of humor, because if you really think about it, and Marvin, you know, don't get mad at me for saying this, but a lot of people died in his life.
Yeah.
And the character Jackson I created, and it was 5 of his friends, and Marvin's sitting there telling me, okay, this guy was this guy's that, and I meshed it together, and I created Keisha. I wanted to do a love story because this is a love story. It's not about just a major gospel artist. This is a love story to 2 individuals, and that's what I wanted to present. That's what Michelle, everybody wanted to present. That's what they wanted this to be, and I think we accomplished that.
Chaz and Amber, what were some of your favorite on-screen moments from the film? Haven't seen it again. What were some of the favorite moments that you liked? Like, oh, I like that piece right there. I like that part.
I'm going to have to watch this some more to choose. No, but literally, I'm going to have to watch it. This was my first time seeing it. I've never seen anything. I saw no more than what you saw, so I was a true audience member just now. What was real for me was Amber throughout the entire thing. Okay, so she's very much authentically the great layers that I know of Melinda. I did not get to know her to meet her, but from what's presented, the layers that I saw are the layers that Amber is in real life. The scene where I'm talking to the mentor and I say, she's not the kind of woman you date, that's the kind of woman you marry. That is the woman sitting to my left and to your right. She's that kind of woman.
Okay,
I do. Right on. So, I just wanted to...
Don't do it.
Boy, that would have been hot, wouldn't it? But But, you know, as she was doing in the back, letting me know and while we're taking pictures that I had spinach in my teeth. You know, it was the same thing on the set, making sure that I was together. They cast it according to what they saw, but I do believe that the magic in the casting between she and I is that she really is that woman. So, you know, it was just cameras on, camera off, it's Melinda. And so I would have to watch it more to see what's a favorite. But the more simpler scenes, to be honest with you, is probably what I'm going to wind up with. When you see she and I talking about, she's wanting to prepare me about how to learn how to manage, you know, my own money and make sure I'm on top of things. Are those authentic, sweet moments that show her strength and her love at the same time, her influence at the same time. I think those are the sweetest because that's what we all relate to. Life, this is all a real thing. This is not practice. This is not rehearsal. This is your life. It's right now. And those kind of scenes remind us of just the authenticity of life, and it gives us a great look into what Marvin Sapp and Melinda Sapp shared that we could never know. We could watch this movie and enjoy it for different reasons and let it hit in different ways. But I'm always thinking, man, this man on the screen, he knows what it really is. He was there. This is actually his life. He knows it a way that it cannot be portrayed but only lived. You know, so the little moments for me, and I'll choose later.
Okay. How about you, Amber?
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, I said, what's some of your...
I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
Yo, go for it.
So the best parts of the film for me, same as Chaz, this was my first time seeing it today. I wasn't expecting to be over there bawling from a film that I performed. Watching all of it come together. I cannot say there's like one specific part because it has so many. But I will say, in particular, seeing the rise of what they were building coming together and the connectedness during when she was deteriorating and her physical was beautiful. How Marvin was still a father, a husband. The talent, the amazing talent from Kamari to Chaz, and then at the end, Marvin, you know, so much talent in this film. My goodness. And I don't know. Like I said, I just wasn't planning to be the one crying. Right. But the scene where Melinda comes in with the top 100 billboard, like they got there, and I thought that was great. Even when we were shooting it, that was one of my favorite scenes.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
great.
I'll tell you my favorite part.
Go for it.
At the very end, when Marvin comes out of the church, those are his children.
Yeah. Okay, I want to steal that one.
You can
I'm gonna
look
take
at
that
them.
one.
And it was tough to look at that because knowing what those kids have been through, I really wanted to make the statement that they made it. And seeing Melinda and Marvin's children walking through that door was a really powerful moment for me. I have a lot of scenes. I have stories about every scene, but I'm not going to bore you guys with it. But I want to say that Marvin is like me in the sense of how we work. He's very succinct on what he wants, and he's quick. Because I remember one day, Marvin, you remember when I got the script and I sent you over my script and you sent me back about 132 pages of notes?
I did. I said up to about more than
Right. And he was like, Russ, you haven't been to church very often, have you? This doesn't happen in a church. And this is, I said, and I didn't want to tell him these are just fillers. I'm just writing stuff for fillers. But he had all these notes. He was so thorough and to the point. And I called him back about 2.5 hours later after I got your notes. And I said, they're in, they're done. And you're like, what? Yeah, I work just like you. This man he's a genius. He's a genius. He's dedicated to this craft. Anybody that can get up and do the sermons that he does throughout the week and on Sundays, sing and be a father. This is a magnificent man. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Marvin, what are some of the takeaways that you want the audience to walk away with after seeing the movie?
Wow. Again, I think one of the takeaways, I've been saying it over and over again, that no matter where you come from, that does not determine where you end. Another takeaway I want to take from it is that, even though your child may be wayward, don't give up and don't throw in the towel as it pertains to them, because there's always hope. Hopefully, I can show, dads, that no matter how difficult it is, stand firm and be that parent that you need to be for your children in order to ensure that they're productive citizens and able to give to their communities as they should once they're older. Last but not least, I really want everybody to understand that never would have made it moments will happen. They will happen. No matter how hard you may try to avoid them, how hard you may try to ignore them, that they're going to happen. Because all of us are going to happen. But the reality is that when we get to the other side of them, because you're going to get there, that you're going to be stronger, that you're going to be wiser, that you're going to be better.
Just finally, I want to ask you guys, what were your personal takeaways? Any personal and professional takeaways from the movie?
Well, I'll use that question to share something very special. Exactly what Bishop Sapp just said is what I do believe are the strong takeaways, and whatever else that people may see that relates to their own personal story. Those are obvious, very clear intentions in this movie and takeaways. But some of you may have seen something that's specific to you, to a situation, whatever, and I'm sure you would take away what was there for that. But I'd like to share something special about doing this movie. And I would say that approximately 20 years ago, before the song Never Would Have Made It, before a version of Bishop Sapp that we know now was, when Melinda was still alive, over 20 years ago, I still am family with, but was very active at West Angeles Church of God in Christ in Los Angeles. And all right, somebody's been to church, all right. Okay, we're not all heathen, huh? But I was there and was working with the new young adult department. And the young adult department wanted to bring somebody for its annual special big young adult event. And they opted to bring Marvin Sapp, who was a great bridge and balance of being appropriate, knowing church, being great, blah, 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 and young and all of that. So brought him, and I remember he and I standing in the West Angeles parking lot, just being kind to one another, enjoying one another, just he and I just standing there. Of course, I was already an admirer. That's the other thing. I didn't have to do much preparation in the sense that I've been admiring him and having my, oh my, impressions of him for years. So I've been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody just knew where I was getting it from. But anyway, we're standing there. He had known some of my work as an actor and was being just so humble and admiring me that way. I was admiring him that way. We were talking about, I remember him saying something about a chain he was going to get and something that he liked and all that. We were just talking. Who would think that 20 years later, I would be playing this man that I'm standing in the parking lot with, just talking, and never would have made it, hadn't made it. at that time. You understand? A lot of what we saw hadn't even happened yet. So it's amazing to me, the circle of life. And I told him when we were at the Stella Awards a couple of weeks ago, I said, we went from the parking lot to the red carpet with your story. And that is what's personally special to me about doing this, is what leads me to a saying that I came up with about 10, 12, whatever years ago. It says, sometime you're around your future and don't even know it.
That's deep. That was deep. I want to take a couple questions from the audience, if we could get some mics out there.
Before we do that, real quick.
Can I do a takeaway real quick? Okay. I just wanted to say, playing Melinda, a big takeaway for me was your circumstances don't have to dictate who you are, right? What you are going through, you don't have to be a victim to. It doesn't have to change your character. It doesn't have to change what you are working on and the people you are trying to help. And it doesn't have to change your outlook on your life. You don't know where you're going, but you don't have to be a victim because of what's happening at the moment. So that was my biggest takeaway. Like, this woman still was strong throughout the whole process, and she was still on her mission, and she didn't let what was happening take away her character, and she was still a God-fearing woman.
I'll give you my quick takeaway. What was really important to me, my takeaway, is for us to understand that colon cancer takes a lot of us out because we don't get checked. We don't get colonoscopies. It was important, the graphic at the very end, it probably went by really fast, that a lot of us, we lost Chadwick Boseman. I can name 1,000 black folk. I was fortunate enough when I went and they found a polyp in me that could not be removed, where I had to have a colon resection. That's why I was able to write that scene in that hospital with accuracy, because I went through that. I was fortunate that they got it, but not all of us are. So I highly recommend that all of you at age, start encouraging your kids at 40, 45. We need to get colonoscopies. It's very important. This is a beautiful story, but I hope the message saves lives, and that's what's important.
All right, we're gonna end it on that note. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Marvin Sapp, Director Russ Parr, Brother Chaz Lamar Shepherd, and the lovely Ambre Anderson, y'all.
Shout out to Keith Neal, who does it all. Yeah. All right.